massive fireball for Tony Stewart. Oh my goodness, and Sean Langdon with a 378.9, 324. Langdon into the 70s as well. The Coletta Air 25th anniversary car goes to the second spot right behind Brittany Force. A huge run, but look at Tony Stewart.
Tony Stewart just experienced what might be the most financially devastating weekend of his NHRA career. The three-time NASCAR Cup Series champion watched his Top Fuel dragster explode not once, but twice during qualifying at the NHRA Summit Racing Equipment Nationals at Norwalk, Ohio. Stewart's own words tell the story best. "This shit is getting expensive real quick." The disaster began during Stewart's first qualifying run against Sean Langdon. Stewart got off the line cleanly, but his engine detonated in spectacular fashion moments later. The explosion was so severe that debris scattered across the track. Stewart managed to avoid crashing into the barriers and exited the dragster without assistance, but the damage was catastrophic. "I'm going to be babysitting everybody's kids and mowing everybody's yards before this is over," Stewart told the media after the incident. His humor couldn't mask the financial reality hitting his Tony Stewart Racing team. A single Top Fuel engine costs hundreds of thousands of dollars, and Stewart had just watched one turn into expensive scrap metal. The team faced an impossible task between qualifying sessions. They had to completely rebuild the car from the ground up in just a few hours. Most teams would pack up and go home after such destruction. Stewart's Dodge Direct Connection crew refused to quit. Stewart said, "I'm proud of our Dodge Direct Connection team. To sit there after quarter one and get it put back together and get us ready for quarter two here. Great effort by these guys. Proud of our guys. It's just, we're going to have to sit and figure out what the hell is going on." The crew performed what can only be described as a miracle. They stripped the destroyed components, installed a completely new engine, and had the car ready for the second qualifying session. The turnaround time was remarkable, but their troubles were far from over. Stewart's second qualifying run seemed promising initially. He launched cleanly and posted a competitive 3.755 elapsed time at 327.11 mph. The time was good enough for provisional third place in the competitive Top Fuel field. Then disaster struck again. Fire erupted in the engine compartment during the run. Stewart had to deal with another mechanical failure that would cost his team dearly. "After a huge explosion during our Q1 pass, my direct connection team got it all back together for Q2, throwing down a 3.755 ET at 327.11 mph to put us in the provisional third qualifying position, but banged the blower," Stewart wrote on social media. The term "banged the blower" in Top Fuel racing means serious damage to the supercharger system. These components cost tens of thousands of dollars and require specialized expertise to repair or replace. Stewart was looking at another massive expense on top of the complete engine destruction from the first session. The qualifying results showed Stewart in third place behind Justin Ashley's 3.752 ET at 330.88 mph and Antron Brown's 3.755 ET at 333.33 mph. Brittany Force from John Force Racing qualified fourth with a 3.784 ET at 380.00 mph, 331.77 miles per hour. Despite the mechanical carnage, Stewart's team had managed to stay competitive. The complete Top Fuel qualifying order revealed the depth of the field Stewart was fighting.
380 at 328.54. Sean Langdon takes over the top spot with the best run of the round. 3 bonus points for Sean Langdon.
Sean Langdon qualified fifth at 3.789 ET and 324.59 mph, followed by Dan Mercier, Spencer Massey, Josh Hart, Clay Milliken, and Sean Reed rounding out the top 10. 16 cars qualified for eliminations, with Scott Farley missing the field entirely. Stewart's financial nightmare continued through the elimination rounds. The team required multiple engine swaps during the weekend, each one representing another substantial cost. Top Fuel teams typically budget for engine changes, but Stewart was burning through power plants at an alarming rate. Despite the mechanical chaos, Stewart extended his semifinal streak to 8 consecutive events. He defeated Kyle Wurtzel and former world champion Steve Torrence with consistent passes of 3.894 and 3.908 seconds. The performance demonstrated his driving skill, but the costs were mounting rapidly. "It's been a rough 2 weeks for us at Richmond and Norwalk," Stewart admitted. "But to get to 2 straight semifinals in the heat and make it to 8 straight events makes me proud of our guys. It shows that this team has no quit in them." Stewart's semifinal loss to Clay Millican came down to the finish line. Both drivers had identical reaction times, but Millican's 3.958 ET edged Stewart's 3.974 ET. The loss was frustrating, but Stewart maintained his points lead despite the expensive weekend. "I'm happy we kept our 52-point lead," Stewart said. "But you can't overlook Justin Ashley, who has won the last 2 races. We just have to keep focused. I'm proud of where we are at the halfway point of the year." The points championship battle added pressure to Stewart's situation. Justin Ashley had won the previous 2 races and was gaining momentum. Stewart needed consistent performance to maintain his advantage, but mechanical failures were draining his team's resources. Stewart's teammate Matt Hagan provided some positive news for Tony Stewart Racing. Hagan reached the funny car final round, losing to reigning champion Austin Prock by just 0.0166 seconds. Hagan's performance showed the team's potential when mechanical problems didn't interfere. "It was a great healing weekend for our TSR Direct Connection Dodge SRT crew," Hagan said. "We've lost a few tight ones lately, but today we got past some of the best. I knew I had to cut a good light against Austin. We ran a 0.050 light against that kid, and that was good." Hagan's near victory came after defeating J.R. Todd, Jack Beckman, and Cruz Pedregan in earlier rounds. His 0.050 second reaction time in the final was exceptional, and he led past half-track before Prock's superior power took over. The performance moved Hagan to 5th in funny car point standings. The financial pressure on Stewart extends beyond single-race expenses. Top fuel racing requires massive investment in spare parts, specialized personnel, and development. Teams typically budget millions of dollars per season, and unexpected failures can quickly exceed those projections. Stewart's situation becomes more complex when considering his temporary role in the seat. He's driving in place of his wife, Leah Pruitt, while she cares for their baby son, Dominic, who was born in November. The arrangement means Stewart is spending money on a program that may not be his long-term future. "When does she plan on getting back in the car?" "I don't have an answer," Stewart told Fox Sports. "But I can tell you, the thing that I made sure that was very clear to her was any minute that she decides she's ready to get back in the car, I'll step out. If that's mid-season, it's mid-season." Pruitt plans summer testing to assess her readiness to return. Stewart supports her decision completely, but the timing uncertainty complicates his investment in the program. He's pouring money into development and equipment for a seat he may vacate at any moment. "I want her to be driving her race car," Stewart said about their family-owned team. "So whenever she's ready and whenever she wants to, I want her to do that. She has told me that to this point she's glad she hasn't, because the amount of work that it takes to take care of Dom and do the work that she does at the racetrack with our partners and with the race team itself, it's all she can deal with right now." Stewart emphasized that he doesn't anticipate changes before the end of the 2025 season, but Pruitt's decision ultimately controls the timeline. The uncertainty adds another layer of financial risk to an already expensive endeavor. The couple faces difficult decisions about Stewart's future role when Pruitt returns. They have separate cars due to size differences and seating positions, but Stewart isn't sure he wants to race against his wife. The team must consider whether maintaining 2 complete top fuel operations makes financial sense. "We've started those conversations of what does life look like in the next couple years for her getting back in the car, and one of the main variables in her equation is, what does that look like for me behind the wheel of a car?" Stewart said. "So we're trying to figure that out." Stewart's struggles in NHRA highlight the sport's financial demands compared to his NASCAR experience. He admitted frustration with the learning curve and the role of equipment versus driver skill in determining success.